working with entrepreneurs and small businesses, taking leaders from good to great. Think like a leader, a group coaching program for women. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited to bring my next guest today here on the HR and Leadership Spotlight Show, Tracy Bianco. Tracy, welcome to the show. It's great to have you today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here with you today, Chuck.
Excellent, excellent. Before we get started, as you probably have seen and heard, we have a tradition. And did you bring anything for us today?
Oh, I am so ready for this tradition. I might lose some friends right now because I am one of the few adults on the face of the earth that does not drink coffee.
Oh my.
No, I know. I'm like an alien. One of my clients actually gave me this cup. It says my cup of tea on both sides, and it's big. I don't know if you can tell, but like it holds a lot of tea.
Yeah.
And I so much loved when she and I finished our work together. She sent me this, and it just touched me because she learned in the course of our work together. I don't talk about coffee and tea a lot, but it was a detail that she tuned into. One day I mentioned, I don't drink coffee. I know most people do. And she remembered. And I just think of her every time I use this mug.
Yeah. It's those small things that people remember. And I actually have a habit throughout the year, and I've learned this, to make little notes throughout the year. So when it comes Christmas time, I get someone something that they're like, huh? And I'm like, yeah, back in July or back in June.
Love that.
You said that. So look, you're not the only guest, the first guest that just drinks tea. I've had tea drinkers, I've had coffee drinkers. And one time I had someone tell me they didn't have any tea or coffee. I'm like, what do you have? And they had an adult beverage. So
I thought that's where it was going.
Yeah, maybe that's what you need to be on the HR and Leadership Spotlight Show. So, Tracy, I did a quick introduction, and another tradition is I don't do much more as far as telling our audience about our guest. I let our guest tell our audience about them. So, tell us about Tracy Bianco. Who is she? What is she doing? And how did she get to where she is today?
Well, okay. I can make that happen. Hopefully I remember all those that you just shared. I am Tracy Bianco. I own Tracy Bianco Coaching and Consulting, and I am on a mission to enlighten but I don't see myself as a leader mindset. That is my mission. However, that is not how I got started. So my career is one of those careers that has taken a lot of different twists and turns. And I would say that when I was in my bachelor's program, right after high school, I definitely had in mind that I would be like a lot of people that are still in my life, a lot of relatives, a lot of friends who know what they want to do. They get their degree, and it's kind of that straight line from college graduation to retirement. They might work at 2 or 3 different organizations, but in really similar roles. I thought that I would do that. And my career path has been anything but. So my bachelor's and my master's degrees are in education. So I did start my career as an elementary school teacher and really did enjoy that. I'm from a very large family. I'm the 7th of 8 kids. And so when I was growing up, my older sisters, for the most part, a lot of sisters, 5 sisters, 2 brothers. My older sisters were getting married and having kids. And so I spent my junior high and high school years doing a lot of babysitting for nieces and nephews. And kids are just, I think, perfection. So I went into teaching, and I really, really enjoyed it. I got to a certain point after about a dozen years, I decided I was ready for something different. I wanted a bit more flexibility in my schedule. My own kids at that point were getting to the stage where they were in many different extracurricular activities, and I wanted to be able to be there for them. So I started a program where I went to school at night and still needed to work during the day. So I started working for a business, basically in an administrative assistance role.
Mm-hmm.
And the longer I worked there, the bigger the business grew. It was very small when I started. They had very rapid growth. And I brought my teacher skills with me. Teachers are organized, we're creative, we know how to get people to work together, we know how to inspire people. And all of that translates into leadership.
Yeah.
So it was, I never would have guessed, but I ended up in various leadership positions and really did enjoy what I was doing. I enjoyed the shift from 8, 9, and 10-year-olds, loved all of them to pieces, but then I was leading adults and helping them find their own answers and do all the amazing things that leaders do. And then from that role, I hopped over and decided, hey, I think I'm going to do this on my own. I think I'm going to help people be more effective leaders in their own businesses, in their families, and in their workplaces. So that's what I do now.
Awesome. And you wrote a book. Tell us about the book.
I did. My book, it's right behind me here. It goes with me everywhere. It's called The Checklist Life, Breaking Free from a Life of Obligations. And what's interesting is that I am by nature a very organized, a very detail-oriented person. I am kind of a checklist kind of person. That's how my brain works. When I was working in those leadership positions that I just shared, I also was at the stage where my 3 kids, junior high, high school, college ages, there was a lot going on. I used checklists to keep everything organized, and I still do. But I also got to the point where I realized I was keeping another checklist in my life, and this checklist was more of a mental one, and it was about, I should do this, and I should do this, and I should do this. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I made that mistake. Let me clean that up. I hope nobody noticed. I should do this. I should do this. And got to a certain point where I realized my life, by my own design, had gotten to the point where I was feeling a lot of I have to and not a lot of I get to. So the book is actually, I heard someone recently say this about a different book. Mine has the same premise. It is a book that you do, not as much a book that you read. You do read it, but I purposely set it up in very short, bite-sized chapters for women who are leading very busy lives. And at the end of every short chapter, there are some action items, something for that woman to think about, something for that woman to write about, something for that woman to do in order to break free from the obligations of, this is what I have to do, the obligatory life, basically.
Yeah. And there is something overall satisfying about making a list of things and checking them off.
I'm with you, Chuck.
Yeah, it is when at the end of the day, now you could do a bunch of things and not feel fulfilled at the end of the day. But if you write those things down and then check them off, the same amount of things, you're like, wow, I got a lot done today.
Yeah. Yeah. You are exactly right.
So you mentioned women, and it looks, now I'm reading your bio, and we've talked about this. You know, you help entrepreneurs, you help small business owners take those leadership results from good to great. So I imagine you work with all types, but it sounds like you also specialize in helping women become great leaders.
That is true. And I also work with men.
Okay.
There are certain programs that I lead. The book that I wrote, I specifically wrote with women in mind. I will say that I've heard from men who have read the book like, hey, I got something out of this, which is good to hear. When I work with entrepreneurs and small business owners, I work with all of them and enjoy working with both men and women as they're building their businesses, as they are beginning to hire team members. And then oftentimes they have their team members and they're like, I don't know what to do with these people. I knew I needed help in my business, but my classic example, I always go back to a plumbing business.
Sure.
A plumber starts a business because he loves doing the plumbing work, and his business really takes off. He begins to hire people to do administrative tasks and scheduling and everything. And he's got all these people that are there, and he's the leader and the manager. He's not quite sure what to do. So I love helping small businesses and entrepreneurs in those ways when I offer certain, I'll call them special programs, like a group coaching program, for example, my Think Like a Leader program. I did narrow that down to women. And part of the reason for that is because I do find for many women, not all, many women live that obligatory life that I mentioned a short time ago, and they're not always the people that are as comfortable with stepping up and saying, I have an answer for that. I know how we should move forward, especially when those women are not in named leadership positions. My philosophy is we've all got the opportunity to be a leader. We might have a title, but we don't have to have a title. We can still be a leader.
I actually have, and I'm going to screen share here for the folks so they can see this. You have a program coming up.
Yes.
Tell us about this.
Thank you for sharing that.
Like a Leader. It's a group coaching program. Tell me what a group coaching program is. There you are. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that setup.
Yeah.
And 17 days, 9 hours, according to this, folks.
So this starts in mid-May, second Wednesday of May. And it really is about, it is for women, as I mentioned a short time ago. And that bar right there says it all. The time has come to proudly own your inner leader. One of the things that has held me back throughout the course of my adult life is that idea of, I don't know if I really deserve a seat at this table, whether it's an actual table or a figurative table. I don't know if that's the right decision to make. Let me just think about this over and over and over again, get stuck in analysis paralysis. So this program is for women. Some of them are named leaders. Some of them are not. Some of them are business owners and entrepreneurs. Some of them are employees. And the whole idea is let's work together on building up what's going on the inside, which is self-trust, self-compassion, self-love, self-confidence. Let's work on building all of that up so that we've got that great confidence in ourselves. Then we show up to the world as strong, courageous leaders. Thank you for pulling that up.
Yeah. No, that's great. I love that. So that's exciting. That's your endeavor. You've written a book. You've got this group coaching program. You're working with businesses, taking them from good to great. I love the analogy of the small business owner that is successful, and now that person has to add more staff, and they're good at what they do, but they're trying to figure out, how do I manage that? So it sounds like you're having fun.
So much fun. So much fun. Yeah.
That's great. We talked about earlier, and I wonder if you could share the story about you going to the beach. So you think about this, we work, we go on vacation, we go to the beach, and we just want to, we should just be relaxing, right? Not doing any work, not doing anything, but sometimes you do, correct? And I know you do for a very specific reason, because you're having fun. Tell us about that.
Yeah, sure. So I mentioned that prior to the pandemic, I would go on beach vacations with some friends and relatives every year. And the last few years, there are times when I leave the warmth of the sunshine on the sandy shore in order to go back up to the house or condo where we're staying. And I conduct one-to-one coaching calls. And oftentimes there's somebody in our group who, by the way, loves me because we're there on vacation together. It's not a stranger. It's someone that I love and trust, who will say, why are you doing that? You're on vacation. Like, just tell your clients you're taking a week off. They'll understand. And the first thing I'll say is my clients would understand, because I think everybody understands. We all need some time off. My answer, though, every year is, this is what I want to do. This is fun. I have found my thing that just lights me up. The beach lights me up. I love being there. I love relaxing. But at the end of those days, when we're enjoying a cocktail on the balcony or whatever, I think about this day was filled with so many things I love. Love the beach, love the people I'm with, love the clients I have the privilege of working with, love the kind of work that I get to do. And I love that I get to do it in this way. I love that there's that flexibility there, which is one of my top values, having the freedom and the flexibility to create the business that I really want to create. That's why there's a group coaching program. Oh, and you know what? That's going to be for women. Oh, I've got some training opportunities over here. I've got some assessment opportunities over here. These are for small businesses. These are for entrepreneurs. I work with some corporations as well to provide regular training sessions for them. And I like all those aspects. Yeah, it's fun.
It sounds like you're taking everyone from good to great. I feel like I've gone from good to great just being with you these past 15 or 20 minutes.
That is quite a compliment. Thanks so much.
So, Tracy Bianco, having fun. Is there anything else that you'd like to add that I might have missed and share with our audience today?
Sure. I would say that the one thing that took me quite a while to realize is that this seems silly now as it's getting ready to come out of my mouth, but we've got one life to live. It's so cliche. There are so many people that I know who are going through the motions of life. They're going through what my checklist life is about. Okay, I get my job. I work for 40 years. That means I have 27 months and 3 days and 2 hours till I get to retire. That's not what life is about. So my wish for everyone, I was going to say my suggestion, but it's a wish for everyone, is to find what lights you up with the people you spend your time with the work that you do, in the ways that you show up as a leader. Find what lights you up and then find ways to do that, all those things that light you up more often than not, because that's what life is about.
Absolutely. And it's funny. I love HR. I love a lot of things. Love HR. I was in HR for so many years. Now I'm out teaching about it.
Yeah.
I'm writing about it, and I'm having a great time too. And I'm having fun. So I understand exactly what you're talking about. Tracy, how could people get in touch with you if they wanted to possibly do the group training, or even just talk to you about taking their small business from good to great, or having one-on-one coaching with you?
Sure. I am on LinkedIn, simply my name, Tracy Bianco, on LinkedIn. My website is also quite easy, tracybianco.com. And on Facebook as well, Tracy Bianco leadership coach is my business Facebook page. So you can find me all of those places. And I would love to communicate with anyone who just wants to say, hey, I heard you on Chuck's podcast.
That is awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll have that information in the show notes below. Tracy Bianco, thank you for being on the HR and Leadership Spotlight Show today.
And again, Chuck, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, folks, remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the HR and Leadership Spotlight Show. Be safe out there.